The convergence of our voices is the song of our beauty. Many voices will speak here, the song woven through diverse notes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Crone Chronicles, and welcome to Rubena Sinha, who is in Toronto. And so, Rubina, could you tell us about your work as a storyteller and as an artist?
Well, I hate to talk about myself, but anyway, I will do it. Storytelling happens late in my life after I came to Toronto. I lived in Winnipeg for all my life, and I did all the work in Winnipeg as a dancer and choreographer. And so I did a lot of work there for a long, long time. And now, when I came to Toronto, I was kind of lost, what to do with myself. My husband was ill and he died. After that, I met before my husband died. I met before Linda House, and she asked me to come to masterclass. So when I went to Celia's masterclass, I started thinking, oh my God, all my life I told stories with my body, but I never told stories as a person using words. I heard the song and I danced, expressing the song's feelings or the story which comes behind the songs. And I told them with my body. So I said, I could do this. And so I started working on it. I took a lot of classes with Celia as well as other people, and Linda was very hand-on at that time because I was very low when my husband died. So she dragged me here and there. So I started loving it. And now I'm just in it because I can't dance anymore. But my heart dances. And when I hear the story also dances in my head. And so when I try to remember the lines, only way it will come and stay with me if I move with it. So maybe my upper body can move, my lower body cannot. Or sometimes lower body can move, my upper body is too much pain. So somehow I manage to deal with the pain with my stories and my movement.
Oh, wonderful. And you have a new project
Yeah.
in the works. So, what is this project?
So I always thought, everybody tells stories about mythology. Mythologies are so powerful and so deep at that time, not now, but at that time. So I started thinking about that, and I remember my parents were with me saying, read this book, read this book, read this book. It's all God and goddesses and mythology with it. And so I did that. And, it's almost end of my life. And I started thinking, what is they did and we didn't do? Or what is the similarity between that time and this time? Of course, there is a lot things comes in with the environment and how many people were there and all those things, that the forest was full of animal. Now it's nothing. But even then, what is it as a human being has similarity with them? So I started working, and when I started working on the mythology, I focused on women. And this particular woman in India is very popular because of her husband. She's popular. So I started thinking there is not much written about her. And so I went to India before COVID, and I was really looking for something about her. And I realized now the women are writing more about her than her husband. So I was so excited. I got all the books I can get. It's all in English and written by, uh, written by people who lived in this part of the world as well as in India.
Yeah.
So I could really see what the difference are.
And
So
this
that's
is this is Sita, isn't it?
Sita. Yes.
Yes.
I wrote it Dancing with Sita
Oh,
because dance is a very important part of my life. So I think when I started thinking about the story of Sita, she should dance with me. Otherwise, how could we know who we are together? So I did that. So it's me and her in the whole script I wrote.
and you're working with a musician?
I have, yes, I could work with anybody really. It's any musician, but she went through birth from the earth, and then she was very uh, completely had understanding of herself. So she was curious. She didn't really fit into the royalty, but she was wanted to know how other people work. And I was like that too. When I came to this country, I always wanted to know who is Canadian, who is the Canadian. I kept asking everybody, and nobody was saying anything to me. Later on, I found out who were the Canadian, but that is on 70s. Yeah, 70s. I explore everything about
Yeah.
First Nation people.
Yeah.
So I lived with them. I explored them, and so I was curious about these things. So is Sita. So it's kind of similar kind of thinking in head, and also it had war. She went through war. She went through turmoil, and without the drum, I couldn't see the war. I couldn't see the chaos into either with you use the singer, the voice, or you use some instrument which will give you that power of understanding. Whoa, this is powerful. So that's why I chose taiko drummer, Japanese taiko drummer. She
Mhm.
worked with me in Winnipeg, so it was very easy for me to get her.
Yeah.
So I got her, and I did 3 pieces from Sita. It's longer, and those 3 pieces we worked with the dancer as well as the drummer. So it was wonderful.
Yeah. And this is going to be performed in many places.
I hope, because it is going to be, the usually storytelling is only maximum 45 minutes, but
Yeah.
this is longer than 45 minutes. So it has to be a show. That means I cannot just do story. I can do one piece at a time,
Mm.
but as a storyteller, but I don't think I can, justify doing it uh, pieces, because nobody will know her if we do it pieces.
Yeah.
If it's whole thing, then you know how she grew, how I grew in this part of the world, and all this mixture of two women from so long ago. I think her this Ramayana was written second century of BC. So you can imagine how long ago. And
Yeah.
now it's 2025. We are still thinking terms of her. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah. And she has relevance to your life, to the lives of other women.
Yes, they
Mm.
do. Because the human being in my mind when I was writing is the same as whenever you are born.
Mhm.
What is the difference between us and them. We say it's different because of technology, this and that. They didn't have the technology, but they had a lot of their instinct to survive. So I think that is more important. Now everybody is saying, oh, we have to talk about environment. They didn't have to talk about environment. Environment was right there on their hand. So it is very, very exciting to go through that and see how far we have come, but yet we really did not come that far, as one,
No.
you know.
People are very much the same, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And also, that what we want in life is respect and understanding our way, the way we think, right? And those are still not available all the time. People are still struggling. We have to negotiate all the time in
Yeah.
our life. And Sita also did that. She negotiated, but she was brave enough to say, yeah, I'm negotiating with you, but I'll do it my way.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
sometimes we fail to say that.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good way to live.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very wonderful journey I had with her, and I really I enjoyed those kind of unknown places to go deep inside and find out, is it where am I now? What is it I am looking for? And it's am I supposed to be sitting at home and doing nothing, or somebody else is taking care of me, or do I still have the power to tackle the world or not? It's most of my friends are very spiritually involved, like they talk about spiritually. Now it's the time to think about this and that, about God, and to go, you should go to the temple or whatever. I don't feel that. I feel like I still have, as long as I'm alive, I still have something to do with his creation. I am his creation, and it's creation outside. Why can't I leave that creation way out? I have nothing to do with it. Yeah, you can do that even you are involved. The same thing, you can do that even you're involved. If you don't get attached to everything, if I'm
Yeah.
attached to my ego, if I'm attached to my senses, then I am doing something wrong. If I'm not, then I'm okay. I still can function with the world and be completely separated within myself. That's I'm learning.
Yeah. So tell us about how you got your start dancing.
Oh, I've always danced. My aunt used to say she will get married and she will be in the kitchen dancing with patchouli. She will take the spatula and start dancing, and something everything will be burnt out. So she used to joke with me, and
Yeah.
I don't know why, but my time dancing wasn't that popular, especially in North India. So my grandmother, my uncles, they all were against my dancing.
Oh.
But yeah, they were all saying, what? The dancing, they thought dancing means, in the movies or prostitute, right? So they dance to please you. So they did not really, but my mom said I could see her, she has the talent. I'm going to make her go through. So that's how my mother was very strong. And
Yes.
my father was very sweet. And he said, well, if you think, to my mom, if you think she could do something with it, okay, go ahead. I wasn't very good in studies. I know. I dreamed whenever I studied about everything, philosophy to anything. But what happened is I really went into a great school, which is Tagore with Uday Shankar. Uday Shankar is a dancer. Tagore, you know. So two together at that moment, I went into that organization, and I got both powerful advice and thing. I was so young. I was so frightened, but I was grasping everything. And that I learned from my grandmother, really, that how to listen, how to be calm into a situation where is upside down, thing is upside down. And so I really listened to them. And I'm still using those wisdom, in my storytelling, in my dance, I see them telling me where is fit in, where is not. It's all inside of you. You just have to get it out, and if you quietly sit, it comes out, and it's right. And so you don't really have to have a big director or this and that. You don't. You really have to know what you really, really want inside of you. And if you sit quietly, they come, if you let them come. And it happens to me. So that's how I do it.
Yes. Yeah. And you tell stories regularly for Birds of a Feather or with Birds of a Feather?
With once a month.
Yes.
Now is very good because Jambolees took over, and they are giving us a place and giving us all the avenues we need, and we just have to go tell stories. So we invite people, 7 people. We invite, including me and Sarah Abu Sarar, Sarah and me. And so I don't always tell stories, but I let them tell stories. So the people get to see how the stories evolves with other people,
Yes.
how the stories comes out from you. Like not everybody is the same. Why?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I want them to ask those questions. Not yet happened that, but I'm hoping slowly, slowly. It's winter. So everybody's sort of like, we have to go again, you know.
Out in the cold and the
Out
snow.
in- yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yes. Uh, oh, well, is there anything you'd like to say that we haven't spoken about?
um, I I can tell you about my grandmother, which we haven't talked about. Um, my grandmother is my mother's side, and I think she has only grade 4 education, but
Yes.
she was so smart, very, very smart. When India got freedom, and the first thing they said that nobody is working for anybody. Before there was a landlord, and all the people work for them. So landlord just sits there, do nothing, and the people work in the field, and the fishing or whatever. So landlord gets all the good stuff, and whatever left over they get it. So
Yes.
they decided no more. So what my grandmother did is, my grandmother had villages. She owned 2 villages, and they're very close by. So she built. They said if you are staying there in the village, then you can own. But if you are not staying there, you're staying in a big palace or something in the cities, you cannot have that. That's for the people to divide. So my grandmother built a house between 2 villages. How smart she was, huh?
Mhm.
We built a house in 2 villages right in the middle, and so government could not take either of the village. So whatever happened in the village, one she has for the molasses, was growing in her one village. Another village was, I think, wheat or something like that, or fruits, vegetable. So she had both. And so they loved her so much because she didn't need anything. She needed for them to be flourished, not taking advantage on them. So they loved her very much. So through her, we used to go to the village. And boy, I'm telling you, those are the experience I never will forget. So I was in the middle grandchild for her, but nobody paid any attention to me. But my ears were open. I don't know how or what. I will never leave her sight. But she didn't even notice me that much. But I saw things like in the morning, she will get up and have a bowl of milk for the cobras to drink outside in her house. She will put that back, and we will all looking at the cobras, and they all come and drink the milk. And
Wow.
it was just outstanding. And
Mhm.
she would say, well, don't go out, just watch. They will go away. You don't harm them, they don't harm you.
Mhm.
And she always said that, and I did. And one time there was molasses happening, and they happen all night for 1 week. They have to they have to get the juice out of the cane, and then they put it in hot places. So what they do all day, they sleep or house, but at night they go out in the forest, and it was kind of bushes, a lot of trees and everything. And they have their kids and sleep, and they sing songs, and they do it all night, the big fire. And we go with her, and she will be walking around with the cane in her hand, big stick in her hand, and she will be walking around looking. And one time we saw a tiger came in, huge tiger came in and sitting there and thinking, I am sure Tiger was thinking, wow, these are such a beautiful little kids. We looked, and I woke some of my cousin, and we all woke up, and we were watching. My grandmother will go around and stop in one place, and he will say to Tiger that, I know you are hungry. You can find a very good prey. Just go and get one and eat, and then come back, watch us. Like that, like
Yeah.
talking to a person.
Yeah.
And I saw it, and Tiger literally get up and went.
Yeah. Oh, that was a real talent your grandmother had to
My
deal with
grandmother talked to
wildlife.
wildlife. I
Yeah.
mean, the crows and everybody. And she will say things. Will say, "Oh, she's witch." That's why she knows all this. But she wasn't. She just had that instinct of listening and making sure that what they are saying it's fits into her thinking too. It's nothing extraordinary, but we don't do that. We don't have any relationship with
Mhm.
anything anymore.
Yeah. I wonder if we could rekindle that kind of relationship,
Yeah. And
life around us.
all my cousins said, how do you remember all these things? I said, because I paid attention, you didn't.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
the storytelling really helps me on those kind of thinking, and really, it for somebody it may not be real, but for me, I have seen it, so it's real. So
Yes.
I know
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
So it's very different.
Mhm.
When I tackle a story, I could see the birds, I could see the animals, I could see how they are with us, before maybe long time ago.
Mhm.
It's just so powerful. It
Yes.
really is.
Mhm.
Even now, when you go to India, the elephants
Mhm.
are everywhere, and they literally talk to you. And whoever the person taking care of the elephant, they really listen to them, whatever
Yeah.
language. And now I see my daughter has a dog, and that dog really knows what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
don't know how, but he does it. I said, stop, stop. Now, my word is stop, but his word is oh, oh, right? So how does he know? So there is something about animal with human being,
yeah,
with
yeah.
the lots of love, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
My grandmother was full of love,
Yeah, yeah.
love for everything.
I
So
think,
that's I keep with me.
yeah.
Whenever I have a story, I found a way to relate to my life. I live long. Now I live long, so I can relate to something.
Yes, yes. So, and relating with love is a good
Powerful.
place to be. Yeah, and it is very powerful. So I think that might be a good place to end our interview here. So thank you so much, Rubina. It was lovely to talk to you. Looking forward to seeing Rubina's new project next time I'm in Toronto and hearing her stories, perhaps at Birds of a Feather. And next up will be a wonderful poet, Alexis Pauline Gums, who has written a book about Audre Lorde. So that's going to be great. If you like Crone Chronicles, please subscribe. Thank you.